Samuel Colbert, a professor at the UCLA Anderson School of Management, is correct when he says, quote, "It's time to finally put the performance review out of its misery. This corporate sham is one of the most insidious, most damaging, and yet most ubiquitous of corporate activities," end quote. As the Harvard Business Review states, quote, "Formal performance appraisal plans are designed to meet three needs, one for the organization and two for the individual. 1. They provide systematic judgments to back up salary increases, promotions, transfers, and sometimes demotions or terminations. 2. They are a means of telling a subordinate how he is doing and suggesting needed changes in behavior, attitudes, skills, or job knowledge. They let him know where he stands with the boss. 3. They also are being increasingly used as a basis for coaching and counseling of the individual by the superior." End quote. If only this were the case in the application. In truth, performance reviews are subjective in nature and strain relations between management and employees, hurting both morale and productivity. The subjective nature of this supposedly objective review greatly undermines its benefits. As an article in the Wall Street Journal states, quote, "Most reviews are staged as objective commentary, as if any two supervisors would reach the same conclusions about the merits and faults of the subordinate," end quote. All employees are judged on identical specific metrics. However, the nature of judging an employee's performance is subjective in and of itself. First, employees naturally have different talents, abilities, and weaknesses which cannot be fully expressed through this rigid method of evaluation. Metrics may overlook specific talents and contributions, leading to an employee receiving a more negative review than warranted by their job performance. Combine this with the well-observed fact that when people switch bosses, they often receive sharply different evaluations from the new bosses to whom they now report, and it is obvious that reviews are not objective at all. Furthermore, this subjective nature puts the employee in a catch-22. As the Wall Street Journal article continues, quote, "People don't want to pay a high price for acknowledging their need for improvement, which is exactly what they would do if they armed the boss with the kind of personal information he or she would need to help them develop. It could all come back to them and haunt them in the performance review," end quote. This is the true nature of the performance review, and it puts the employee against the boss in a distrusting, unproductive stalemate. With employees pitted against management due to performance reviews, relationships become strained, morale plummets, and even teamwork is negatively affected. As the Wall Street Journal states, quote, "It's a negative to corporate performance, an obstacle to straight-talk relationships, and a prime cause of low morale at work. Even the mere knowledge that such an event will take place damages daily communications and teamwork," end quote. This is the nature of the beast. As an article in Psychology Today states, quote, "Brain science has shown that when people encounter information that is in conflict with their self-image, their tendency is to change the information, rather than changing themselves. So when managers give critical performance appraisal feedback to their employees, their brain's defense mechanisms are activated, and the motivation to change is improbable," end quote. Therefore, performance evaluations halt honest, open communication and lead to no satisfactory change in employee behavior. Finally, consider the following. Quote, "In an article published in the Psychological Bulletin, psychologists A. Kluger and A. Denisi report completion of a meta-analysis of 607 studies of performance evaluations and concluded that at least 30% of the performance reviews ended up in decreased performance," end quote. With a 30+% of reviews ending in decreased performance, strained communication, and no change in behavior, it is obvious performance reviews are not beneficial. Clearly, it is time to do away with performance appraisals. Lack of objectivity undermines its purpose and causes frustration and decreased morale. For those employees who are exceptional workers yet fall through the cracks of the exact metrics of the review, their contribution goes unnoticed and they are severely undervalued. Bosses are pitted against employees, drastically retarding communications and resulting in lack of productivity. Finally, employees become defensive yet are unwilling to change behavior, leading to reductions in efficiency and morale. With all of these negative impacts on the work environment as a direct result of performance reviews, I stand behind Samuel Colbert when he says it's time to put performance reviews out of their misery.